What's good with you all today? My name is RYU-GE, and today we're back to take a look at the upcoming Yu-Gi-Oh set with crossover breakers. Now, I usually don't look at side sets when I do these set analysis videos, but this one's a special case as it's bringing us a very interesting Cyberse strategy with the Maliss archetype. And being the Cyberse fanatic that I am, I thought it would be good to take a look over it and what it's bringing to the Cynet. Also, I've skipped my last two set analysis videos due to being away from the game for a bit and going on extended holiday. A little more info on that at the very end of the video. So much has happened in the meantime, but I've been making sure to keep up. Anyways, Crossover Breakers is also introducing two new archetypes with both RYU-GE and RYU-GE, and being the final set of the year, it's sure to bring some shakeups to the game. So let's go ahead and take a quick look. So being a Cyberse archetype, Maliss is supposed to represent a virus and malware while also combining themes from Alice in Wonderland. Pretty unique. That virus nature also does come through a bit in their playstyle. Let's begin with the main deck with Maliss Pawn Cheesy Cat, or Maliss Pawn Cheshire Cat in the OCG. This is a level 3 dark attribute card that reads, any monster destroyed by battle with the Maliss Link monster that points to this card is banished. You can only use each of the following effects of Maliss Cheshire Cat once per turn. During your main phase, you can banish one Maliss card from your hand, then you can draw 2 cards. If this card is banished, you can pay 300 life points to special summon this card back, and also you can't special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn, except Link monsters. So we're starting off really good here. If one of your Maliss Link monsters battles while pointing to this card, it's just banished. And then allowing a simple draw 2 by banishing any one Maliss card from your hand is incredible. And this card can just be brought back from the banish zone by paying 300 life points, which is so easy. It does lock you into special summoning only Link monsters from your extra deck, but this being a Cyberse deck, that's kind of expected and isn't a problem at all. There's a ton of great Cyberse extra deck cards to be always cycling through. Very good. Up next is Maliss Pawn Dormouse. Another level 3 Cyberse that reads, Maliss Link monsters that point to this card cannot be destroyed by card effects. You can only use each of the following effects of Maliss Dormouse once per turn. During your main phase, you can banish one Maliss monster from your deck. Also, all Maliss monsters you control will gain 600 attack this turn. If this card is banished, you can pay 300 life points to special summon this card back. Also, you cannot special summon from your extra deck for the rest of this turn except Link monsters. Again, this card offers protection to your Maliss Link monster, which is really good, as long as they point to this card. By banishing this card during your main phase, all Maliss monsters you control gain 600 attack for the turn, a neat boost in power. And if this card is banished, you can pay 300 life points to special summon it back. This card also locks you into only being able to special summon only Link monsters for the rest of the turn. And moving on to the next main deck monster, we have Maliss Pawn White Rabbit. Another level 3 dark Cyberse monster that takes no battle damage from battles involving Maliss Link monsters that point to this card. That sounds oddly specific, but you find that this is actually really helpful. With the way the Maliss Link monsters arrows are set up, these effects help a lot. I'll touch more on this when we get to the Link monsters in just a moment. Moving on with the rest of the effects, if this card is normal special summoned, you can set one Maliss trap from your deck with a different name from the cards in your grave. If this card is banished, you can pay 300 life points to special it back to the field, and of course, you're locked into only special summoning Cyberse monsters from the extra deck. It's Cyberse, you should get this by now. White Rabbit will be your main starter card, and I can see this card already fetching quite a high price just because of the nature of these types of cards, especially in these deck builder packs. You saw it with Centurion, with, Primarina and all of that, and you see it with a bunch of others. So I already know this card is gonna be quite the price just for how it's structured. So those are the 3 new main deck monsters that we're receiving in the first round. Firstly, I really like it. I'll give my overall impressions after we finish covering the Link monsters and support spells and traps, but I really like this archetype so far. It's very Cyberse to its very core, but I'll speak more on what I mean about that in a little. For now, let's take a look at the boss monsters and Link cards. So first up, we have Maliss Queen of Hearts Cryptor, or Cypher in the OCG, which sounds so much cooler. This is a Link 3 Dark Attribute Cyberse monster that lets you target one of your banished Maliss cards, shuffle it into the deck, and if you do, banish one card on the field. This is activated as a quick effect. Additionally, the activation and effect of this card cannot be negated if this card points to a monster. And if this card is banished, you can pay 900 life points to special summon this card back. And if you do, its attack is doubled. So we're definitely seeing the advantages of these cards working together as a whole unit. This is also what I really like about Cyberse decks that a lot of people might not, and that's that everything is kept in theme and in archetype. Again, not something a lot of people are a fan of, but I really like this about Cyberse decks and monsters. Hearts of Cypher is a very powerful monster that lets you recycle back your banished Maliss monsters, so you want to be using those effects to banish them, return them, and then continue using their effects in cycle. And its effect can't be stopped so long as it points to a monster, which is really good, starting off well here for sure. Following in, we also have Maliss Queen Red Ransom, another Link 3 Dark Attribute Cyberse monster with the unique effect of switching the original attack and defense of your opponent's effect monster around while this card points to a monster. Additionally, once per turn, if this card is special summoned, you can add one Maliss spell from your deck to your hand. There's only one Maliss spell so far, but we'll go over that a little bit later. And if this card is banished, you can pay 900 life points to special summon it, then you can banish one Cyberse monster from your deck. Very, very cool. I love that we're getting back to making link arrows more meaningful again, especially within the Cyberse typing. Some of these effects are really unique, so you're definitely gonna want to play this deck to its strengths. And the instant spell search on special summon is very helpful too. And last of the boss monsters, we have Maliss Queen White Binder. Link 3 Dark Attribute Cyberse, and if this card is special summoned, you can target up to 3 cards in any grave and banish them. During your main phase, you can set one Maliss trap from your deck or grave. So Red Ransom lets you search a spell, whereas White Binder here just directly sets a trap from your deck or grave. The really cool thing about this is that all the traps can be activated as soon as they're set, but again, I'll cover that in just a sec. If this card is banished, you can pay 900 life points to special it back, and then draw one card. This, of course, is once per turn. Okay, so these 3 boss monsters are definitely very unique with all their link effects. They made link arrows and co-linking matter again, and I love it. This is definitely a big thing that's been lost since the introduction of link monsters. I feel like a lot of link-based decks these days don't really care anymore about the arrows or co-linking. Outside some of the main Cyberse decks like Code Talkers, Rockets, and some of the earlier Cyberse decks, not a lot of archetypes and decks make use of this mechanic anymore. So I think it's really cool that we're getting to see this at play again. The archetype as a whole is also really cool. A virus-based deck is something that I've been wishing for a long time, and it makes a lot more sense under the Cyberse umbrella. And that theming continues in their support spells and traps too. Their field spell, Maliss Underground, I see what they did there, when activated, lets you banish one Maliss card from your hand, deck, or grave. So that's already easy setup for a lot of your monster cards. While 3 or more of your Maliss traps with different names are banished, Maliss Link monsters that you control gain 3000 attack. That's insane. And this card can just help you turbo those cards into your grave to get that effect off if you're not targeting your monsters with its effect. Lastly, while you control a Maliss Link monster, your opponent's monster can only target Maliss Link monsters for attacks. A very big card for the archetype already. The 3 trap cards of the archetype, Maliss C GWC-06, Maliss C MTP-07, and Maliss C TB-11 are some of the weirdest names for any Yu-Gi-Oh card that I've ever read, but they're actually all references to different chapters of the original Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, which is, I think that's really cool. That's super unique. They can all be activated the turn that they were set by banishing one face-up Maliss monster that you control, and then have different effects from there. GWC lets you special summon one of your Maliss monsters that's banished or in your grave. Then, if you control a Maliss Link monster, you gain life points equal to the original attack of that special summon monster. MTP lets you add one Maliss monster from your deck to your hand. Then, if you control a Maliss Link monster, you can banish one card on the field. Very helpful. And CTB-11 lets you special summon one Maliss monster from your deck, or if your opponent controls 3 or more cards, you can special summon one Maliss Link monster from your extra deck instead. However, for the rest of the turn, that summon monster cannot attack and neither player can activate its effects. So it's great to help you get to your next step of your link combos. Again, I really like this archetype. It's always super cool to see new cyber strategies come into the game, and I love it. I'm already experimenting with a very basic Maliss Code Talker combo deck, which I've been trying to get down, and as more support comes out for this deck, it's going to be cool to see how it progresses. My only gripe is that I already know that White Rabbit is going to fetch a very high price, what with it being the main starter card of the whole deck. I just know it. Regardless, I'm gonna be doing my best to get my hands on these cards and maybe bring a deck profile at some point. Crossover Breakers is also bringing 2 other brand new strategies with the RYU-GE and RYU archetypes. RYU is a rank 4 Xyz based deck with monsters based on different types of engines, and this deck is already very sought after as it offers very easy but powerful tools to just go insane for any Xyz deck that you attach them to. Very fitting that the engine based deck is going to be seen as a good engine for many different decks. And RYU-GE is a deck based off an ancient dragon prophecy, with its 3 main monsters being an earth dino, water serpent, and windworm, with their big boss being the ritual light dragon. I haven't looked too much into this deck yet, but I'll be sure to keep my eye on it. Crossover Breakers will be reprinting a range of different support cards too to help with all these strategies, but especially for the Maliss archetype because we're getting some really cool reprints such as the couple Logic Dragons and some Signet spells and traps. Cards like Trigate Wizard, who is such a good Cyberse card, will also be getting a reprint and works perfectly with Maliss's Link Arrows too. As well as Encode Talker too, that's actually a really good card for this as well. Crossover Breakers is right on the doorstep of being released, so be sure to pick up any cards that you need if you're looking to play these decks. This is also the final set for the year, and I cannot wait to see what 2025 will bring for some of these decks and strategies. Anyways guys, thanks for keeping up with the set analysis. I know I've missed the last few main sets coverage, but due to a lot of schedule conflicts, I really feel like I've lost my motivation to create a lot of things since returning from holiday some time back. I'm trying my best to get back to a normal schedule, and I've had some big videos being created in the background that I hope to release soon. But until then, I will see you all again soon in the duel arena.